Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the latest episode of Another Job Bites the Dust, episode 9. I'm very excited. This week, I'm talking to my comedian friend, Stuart Campbell. Now, I know what you're thinking. Stuart Campbell does not sound like a foreign name. Yes, that's true, but fun fact, some of his grandparents moved to South Africa, and then he was born and raised in South Africa, in Cape Town and in Prince Albert, which we had a whole banter about. But long story short, we got into his childhood there. We discussed his comedy aspirations, his style, his experiences so far. And yeah, it was a fun, all-around, entertaining, educational conversation. I hope you have as much fun watching it as we did making it. And see you in the next one. And as always, these are honest adult conversations, so viewer discretion is advised.
Well, hello, Mr. Campbell.
Well, hello there, Sylas. I did pronounce that correctly, didn't I?
Oh yeah, you did that right. Don't worry. As long as you don't call me sandwich or sizzle sandwich.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
Laura did that to me. Right, so I mean straight away, because obviously your name is Stuart Campbell.
Yes.
People might be wondering, whoa, where's that magical name from?
Yeah, it's a very foreign name in Glasgow, Scotland.
Yes.
My granddad's from Glasgow.
Cool.
So he immigrated from Glasgow when he was 19.
When he was 19,
Yeah, 19
and
with
he
South
decided
Africa.
to go for the very rich and highly functional country of...
South Africa, yeah.
okay.
He was a white guy back then, so things were pretty good for him.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so in terms of, I think Scotland around that time when he immigrated was like the 60s. So I think especially in Glasgow, it's like a lot of like poverty and stuff around here,
Yeah.
So I think
I mean,
people are
I've
struggling
heard
quite a
the
lot.
tales.
So he went to South Africa and then met my gran there, and her father was from Aberdeen.
Right?
So they met at like a Scottish club in Cape Town, South Africa.
Nice.
So there's like a lot of Scottish roots in my family, and then when things were getting pretty bad in South Africa with the crime and the economy and stuff, like fucking let's go back because it's easy enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So hang on, so you were the South African guy that's like, well, I'm actually 32%
Yeah,
Scottish.
I try not to do that because I know how much fucking Scottish people hate that.
Dude, I mean, to be fair, like, listen, I recently did my DNA test. I found out I was 1% Greek and like 2%
fuck yeah.
Viking, and I was like, yes!
That's awesome. Dude, I'm really want to do that. I'm dying to be like a percentage Viking because I just want to. But I'm pretty confident because I'm like got a little bit of a ginger beard.
Right?
So I'm like, fuck, there must be some
Ginger
raping and purging somewhere in my DNA.
Potentially, yes.
Because they're pretty good at that, weren't they?
Yeah, they kept busy.
I mean, you say 1% Viking? They're
Potentially,
yeah.
But oof. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I was like, yeah, I'm Viking. Now I'm like, I'm Viking.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, let's get down to it, bro. Because obviously, so hang on. Did your family sort of celebrate being Scottish?
I mean,
they keep the culture going.
yeah. So we spoke about it like a lot. Like my granddad's kilt. Like I never met him, but she had like all these like Scottish things he's killed. These spurring and like all of the little bits and bobs, and she like told me like I'll inherit that one day. And when I like at school, like sometimes during presentations, like I'll do like talking about my Scottish heritage and stuff. And,
Yeah.
and just things like that. And it's just like my gran and my dad all drank Scottish whiskey, and we always spoke about being Scottish. We always felt very Scottish, but then it's kind of weird, like, because you expect moving here to feel like home, but then you get here and you have an accent and you're not Scottish.
Yeah.
And people are like, where are you from? And then it's like, then it's the opposite again because,
I was actually gonna say, like, obviously you must have heard a lot about Scotland growing up.
Yeah, so I mean...
And then once you moved it, did it live up to your expectations, or is like,
yeah,
was
well,
the dream shattered?
I love Scotland, man. And I'd been here like a few times when I was a kid on like holidays and stuff.
Okay. To the old country.
To the old country. I didn't, returning to the homeland. I didn't realize, like, obviously all the little, when you live here, things start making, you learn more things like slang words and just sort of culture and stuff as well. And
Yeah,
like
just
banter.
everyday differences.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I don't know,
Like in my case, the trains work. That's like,
yeah.
when
public
they do,
trans-
when they're not on strike. But
Yeah, sure.
shots fired. But topical. No, but like, no, it's, compared to Romania, like waiting 40 minutes for a train
Is that,
delayed. That
Eesh.
was like a
what is the
common
public
occurrence.
transport like there?
It's been improving.
it's
To be,
mostly
I don't want to put Romania down left and right. It's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
actually improving quite a lot. But I think the trains still have some problems. Like basically, around the time I moved here, they added up the total delays of all the trains in the country, and the total was 8 years in 1 year.
Jeez, yeah. So you're from Transylvania, aren't you?
Yes.
I didn't realize that was like a real place until like a couple years ago.
No.
I just thought it was like in movies and stuff.
Yeah, not a lot of people do. Not a lot of, like I've actually, so I either get the that's Dracula, or I get the that's not a real place, and I'm like, well, actually it is.
Does it get confused with Pennsylvania quite often as well?
I think I might have had it once. Like
Yeah.
one time somebody was like, oh, that's in America. I was like, no, it's not.
Yeah. So what are the neighboring countries of Romania?
Well, you got Hungary to the left, you've got Bulgaria to the south, you've got Moldova to the right, you got
Okay.
Ukraine to the north.
Jesus, that's
It's
pretty
what-
eastern, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's literally 1 day away. So basically, Kiev is it's 8 hours away by car.
Jeez. I mean, that's...
So if
It's still pretty
shit
close,
hits the
yeah.
fan.
So
yeah.
are like people pretty nervous there, like friends and stuff?
With some of everyone, depends. Some people are more paranoid than others.
Yeah.
I'm fairly optimistic, but it's like literally, when your parents have a massive fight in the other room and you
Yeah.
start, hearing shit flying, you're like, this is gonna work out in the next room. That's
Yeah. So you guys are like the little sad kid trying to like distract themselves, like drawing and stuff.
yeah, we're like just discovering arts and just focusing on our self-expression.
Yeah.
that's us right now. But yeah, so hang on. So let's get back to
Sorry,
Cape
yeah.
Town, right? No.
Yeah.
So this is
So I
chat
was
back and
born
forth.
in Cape Town,
Born in Cape Town.
but I grew up. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
No,
answering
you grew
your
up-
question. Grew up in a tiny little farming town called Prince Albert. About
Prince
4
Albert,
hours.
is that
4 hours
named after
in
the prince or
Yeah,
the
so-
cock ring? I'm just...
Yeah, everyone just like when you're born there, like how Jewish babies get circumcised, everyone gets a Prince Albert cock ring.
I mean, it's in the name.
That is a wild thing to put in your body, isn't it? Like, I mean, I've got like the studs, and I had a nose ring at one point. But
So
like,
somebody looked at an earring. I was like, I wonder.
dude, getting
You know where I could put that?
put that in my cock. An earring for the dick. Prince. Yeah, so it's a name because South Africa used to be a British colony.
Yes.
So there's like a lot of it's really weird, like because they always talk about South Africa being like a mixing pot, like of everything and like different cultures. There's like 11 official languages.
11 official languages.
Um,
Okay.
So it's quite, and I mean there's lots of like smaller dialects and.
I mean, I know
languages.
Afrikaans. I'm guessing.
Afrikaans is the big one. English is like the main one. Like everyone
Everyone
sort of speaks
understands,
English,
okay.
and then I think, but the most spoken language I think is Zulu,
Okay.
and then it might be Xhosa, which is the one with the clicks.
Cool.
Um,
My man got the clicks.
I got the clicks down, dude.
Nice.
I did a bit of Xhosa at school.
Did you actually?
Only for like 1 year, and then I don't remember anything. The only word I remember is ice cream, which is ice cream, and that's just. I mean, some words are like they just take from English and
Because they had to.
yeah, and then molo is morning. That's what I remember. Molo.
Molo. Nice. That's
I mean-
pretty cool.
I want to try learn more languages.
No, it is like languages are fascinating because basically people came up with different systems to like communicate, obviously. But then the more far away you get from a different, like the bigger the distance between two places,
Yeah.
the wilder and not wilder, but like the more different the system is.
Yeah.
And then what happens is that's why accents are always funny, is because
Yeah.
we not only have a system, like not only do you have a vocabulary of like words, but we also have a vocabulary of sounds, in the sense of like, like if we pretend like if we make a sound in Hungarian, it's like, oh, you sound so dumb, and we'll make a sound, that might sound like someone else's accent, because for us that sound like like we
Encapsulates the culture.
yeah, like we'll make that sort of sound to make
Yeah.
fun of you, but then somebody will actually have that, when they
Yeah,
speak
that
in their
sound,
language,
yeah.
that sound makes sense to
Like
them.
the whole French thing, going like that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's just basically, it's just cultures sort of clash
Yeah.
up against each other, and it's like, here that sound means something completely different, and here it's something else, and then when you use it in this region, it's like,
Okay.
the fuck did you just say?
So there are a lot of different languages, or is it more dialects in Romania?
There's a few actually. I mean, there's different versions of Romanian. There's a Hungarian-Romanian mix, but our favorite thing is the fact that dick in Romanian is pula, and there's a city called Pula in Croatia,
That's
I
awesome.
think. So anytime a Romanian goes on holiday to Croatia, they need to visit that
Pula,
town
yeah, I'm
and
gonna
check in
go
on Facebook.
Check
like,
out this big dick.
population, you.
Oh yeah, I was telling you. Oh yeah, so in South Africa, obviously, it was discovered 1652, or discovered.
Well, it's discovered for the
Colonized,
people
yeah.
from here.
Yeah, from Europe, by the Dutch. So that's why Afrikaans is like a Dutch.
Yeah, I was
thing.
gonna
And
say
then
so. I was surprised you said it was a British colony because I knew about the Afrikaans-Dutch connection.
yeah. And then the English came in, so then there's all the Brits, and then that's why the English is a whole big thing. So then, and then it's kind of mixed together with all the different like tribes, like the Xhosa and the Zulu and everything in
Yeah.
South Africa, and so it's all like really diverse and mixed, and it is just sort of put together into like this big bowl.
I mean, yeah, it's famous for a lot of. I mean, Nelson Mandela, right?
Nelson, yeah, the
Yeah, so
goat,
the goat, yeah,
Michael
with him,
Jordan
like-
of South Africa.
Yeah, we're coming back with like sort of bringing sort of peace and reconciliation and
Yeah.
all that,
Yeah,
which was, I mean, fantastic.
it's
'cause
wild. Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just gonna have retribution like, continuously, and they're just gonna destroy the
I
whole
mean,
country.
it was basically civil war or what Nelson Mandela did, and everyone on Nelson Mandela's side was like, "Fuck, let's fight,"
Yeah.
and then he was like, "Nah."
Yeah, like right now, I still get surprised when people are like, "Yeah, maybe we should do another world war." I'm like,
Maybe we should just
done.
toughen us up a little.
no, it's like nah. Like I've got that feeling like many people are like, "We're not doing a world war, guys." Like
Yeah.
you guys want to fight, you fucking go fight amongst yourselves. I'm not doing it.
I mean, 2 in a century is like quite a lot, but like you think that we're not going to do this again, but you never know
Yeah,
because after the
yeah.
first one you think like, okay, that's not going to happen again.
The first one was bad enough, but the thing is, the first one didn't end with a massive explosion, and I think
Yeah.
that's why there was like, there's place for the sequel to go to escalate.
Yeah,
But yeah, God, fingers crossed, eh?
yeah. Oh, but I think the point I was getting to is like the mixing. So like Prince Albert was the like English town. Prince Albert was married to Queen Victoria, but then
Yeah.
there's also like a lot of Afrikaans names of like towns. Like Welkom is one, which literally is welcome.
Yeah,
And,
welcome. Okay.
and I think Dutch is also welcome, I think. And then there's like Bloemfontein. It's like
Is that a fountain?
Bloom something fountain. Yeah, I don't know what the bloom is. I think it's like a maybe flower or something. Don't quote me on that. And then there's like a lot of like names, and then there's like the Free State, which is like a province, used to be like the Oranje Vrystaat, which is like the Orange Free State.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
big Dutch sort of influence.
Well,
There's like Dutch
orange.
forts and stuff. And so it's all really like there's a lot of history behind it. And then there's of course like the cave paintings and stuff of like the Khoi, like Bushman people who were there before
Cool.
and stuff. So there's a lot of history there, man.
I mean,
And it's really cool.
yeah, when you think Africa, you think of the birth of human
Yeah,
civilization.
the
so
cradle of humankind. Yeah.
it's pretty wild, I'm not gonna lie. Just millennia worth of like history.
Yeah.
Most of it forgotten, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, with Romania being, like, I mean, it's considered European.
Well, on paper, yes.
Yeah. So I feel like Europe, obviously, because it was. I'm reading the book like over there, the Guns, Germs, and Steel, and talks about how Europe came to power and stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously that because Europe came to like
Well,
power
Western
in a
Europe-
modern sense. Yeah.
Western Europe came to power.
So, like there's a lot more history that was written down, and I was wondering if that is that the case with like Romania, with it being thousands of years of things.
So the first things we learned of Romanian history. So I'm technically Hungarian from Romania, but I learned both histories.
Okay.
So Romanian history we learned about. So back in Roman days was it was Dacia.
Yeah.
So it was I don't know what's the Gito Dacians, if that's the term in English, but so it was those people living there, and then it was Decebal, the king, and he was fighting, I think, Trajanus, the Roman
Yeah.
emperor, Roman general, whatever. And so basically Romania got colonized back then by the Romans.
Mm.
Then obviously Rome fell, a bunch of people came from the east and the southeast. Amongst those, the Hungarians, hello.
Yeah.
So we were basically Vikings on horseback. That's what we did.
So in like Game of Thrones, you were the what's the people, the
yeah,
Khaleesi's
yeah.
husband? Or
Yeah,
whatever.
the was it Khal Drogo and all
Yeah,
that?
yeah. So you're those guys.
Yeah. So Hungarians were famous for horse riding and horse archery and things like that.
Mm.
And then so we settled down about 897 AD, from what I remember.
Okay.
In
So was it like-
that's like west of Romania, but then like Transylvania was claimed by Hungarians. There's Hungarian people like been living there for like 1,000 years. And then obviously there's always going to be a bit of rivalry, and then we
Yeah.
had it first. No, we had it first. No,
Oh,
fuck you.
yeah.
There's always that. But at this stage, I'm like, guys, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Really, nobody cares.
I'm fascinated by like Romania and Eastern Europe and all of that.
Yeah, well, Eastern Europe is kind of fascinating because it's basically it's sort of a media black hole. Like, if you hear news up from Romania, it's very rare, and chances are it's not very good.
Oh, really?
Because it, you know,
Is it quite Catholic then as well?
it's mixed actually. So the Hungarian population can be Catholic or Protestant. The Romanian population is probably more likely to be Greek Orthodox.
Okay.
So we're still heavy duty Christians.
Yeah.
They still do a bunch of the same stuff. You know, they'll go and kiss old relics and bones.
That's sick. I love that.
Yeah, it's, I think in not just a metaphorical sense, but I mean, you know, it's that's people's, you know, faith, and I'm not gonna mess with people's faith, but sometimes you do go about start wondering about the hygiene levels and whatnot. But yeah, there's like again different cultures, and then the Turks came in, and that was we got some good food out of it though. To be fair,
yeah.
so like we got colonized by the Turks, but oh my god, the food is amazing.
So there's a lot of Turkish food in Romania, because I mean Romanian
stuffed
cuisine.
Cabbage.
Oh shit, yeah, fair
So
enough.
that's famously sort of taken over from the Turks and sort of made it our own. We have things similar to like kofta, you know, the kebab, the minced meat.
Oh yeah, and like yeah.
Yes,
For some reason, my Instagram algorithm is just like I've watched like one video
about grilling.
about like you know it's this guy who like does giant thing. He like makes giant fire out in the desert, and then he like puts a giant pan and he makes like I think it's like
I saw the
in
Mongolian
Middle East
guy,
or
I
something.
think.
Yeah, and then
Or
basically I
some
clicked
sort
on
of
that
Asian
one,
guy.
so all I get is just like Turkish dudes cooking things that. That's all my
Nice.
Instagram is now.
Nice. And then obviously the past, hang on, after the Second World War to 89, it's a solid almost 50 years of communism.
Shit, yeah, I forgot about the whole communism.
The old communism, lads.
Yeah. So what's your view on communism then?
Do I look impressed?
Wow, you come to
Look, I
the
mean,
West.
I know what it's done to my country. I know what the long-term consequences have been in my country. I'm also aware of what it did to my dad. So
Yeah.
I keep telling this story, but basically my dad got arrested for trying to leave the country when he was 18 years old, and he went to prison for 9 months.
Jesus. That's insane, man.
And they just stuck him in with like all the...
Yeah, and prison then
murderers.
must have been fucking mental, man.
Yeah, so I'm not a fan.
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to like probe into anything.
No, because here in this has been sort of interesting for me, because I came to the West all wide-eyed and it's the land of opportunity and freedom and let's go, and you know you don't have to worry about what you say. Not that you don't have to worry about what you say, but in that that you can criticize the government and things like that, and you can now in Romania as well. But it was just this was the model that we looked up to. Like people used to sort of sneak it, like illegally listen to was Free Europe, a radio station. That was like so they would get information from the West, and they would sneak in rock music, and people used to get arrested for playing rock music. And if you had long hair in Romania, the police had the right to stop you and be like, "All right, young man, you want to consider having a haircut?"
Jesus.
Yeah, because he was seen as a rebel, and anything that rebels, it's probably not good for the government and the stability of the status quo.
Everyone with the same haircuts and all of that sort of thing. And
I know, just short and very, very presentable, but in an East European way.
Yeah.
like I can if I see someone who's like wearing the old style, I'm like,
it's run like a boarding school. Like that's sort of
yeah, a bit like that. So it has been fascinating seeing some people's passion for communism in the West. It was like, well, it hasn't been tried properly.
Yeah,
and
because like it's a big thing among students now, isn't it? Yeah.
And I'm like, well, about 20-something countries did.
Yeah, it didn't work.
I don't.
Yeah, so like, how do you feel like then seeing like big posters like Che Guevara and like
I mean, I've got
communist like hammer and sickle and stuff?
I have no massive emotional connection with Che Guevara because he didn't mess up
Cuban,
my country.
Yeah.
But
he's like a beacon of communism, isn't he? In a way?
No, this is where things like once you get into politics, it's like, are there good ideas in communism? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, not everything's good about the West. Not everything's good about capitalism either. You know, so just pretending like it's completely evil, it's nonsense. It's done a lot of evil stuff though.
Yeah.
Ask the Ukrainians how they feel about good old-fashioned communism. Just ask them, see what you get. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, but anyway, I'm glad you're curious about Romania and our history,
cool.
but and I can go on for hours, but I want to learn more about you. So South Africa, Scottish bloke.
Yes.
Cape Town, St. Albert.
Prince Albert.
Prince Albert.
That's a different dick piercing. St. Albert.
Just different. It's from a different angle. But I was gonna ask was, obviously, what was it like growing up there? Because I have no image of what's it like living there
so
as a youth.
It's very different all around the place because it's like, so Prince Albert was very like a farming town, but it's like semi-desert, so it's like a lot of like cactuses and sort of succulent plants and very dry, basically it was normal for it to be like 40 degrees Celsius.
Right.
But like a bone dry heat. And then the hottest I've ever experienced there was 52 degrees Celsius.
Dang. I've done 42, maybe 44 back home.
Yeah, it gets pretty hot there, man. It's like a lot of droughts. And the roads start melting.
So you're basically the sand people of Tatooine, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but like, because I'm so Scottish, like in terms of my heritage, like I struggled, man. I just used to have like blood noses every day, and I thought that was like I thought it was my allergies. Like, I thought it was because I was like blowing my nose. I think I was dying in that heat, and it was like really bad. I was burnt all the time. Like I just wasn't comfortable until I came here, and like now I feel like my body's like just comfortable.
You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like everyone had like swimming pools and air conditioning, which is like not really a thing here. But
yeah, no, UK is not that big on aircon.
Yeah, but in terms of like, I went my first school. I would like go to school barefoot, and like that was normal.
Really?
Yeah, walk to school barefoot, just like wearing shorts and like a school shorts, school t-shirt, and just be like fucking walk around barefoot all day, which is like so chill. And then like the big thing was like, oh, when you get to like high school, then you wear shoes. And it's not like a poor or rich thing. It was just like because it was a little farming town, yeah. The little school, and there was like one school, and it was in Afrikaans. So my first school experience was me going to school and speaking Afrikaans. And then my parents
still fluent in Afrikaans?
Not as much anymore because I don't speak it that often. I took it all the way through high school as like as a subject. But when I moved from Prince Albert, I went to boarding school in KwaZulu-Natal, which is near Durban on the east coast, and that's way more like that was like a British stronghold, I think, when they came, and that's way more English. People only speak Afrikaans there.
That's like the Benidorm of South Africa.
Yeah, in a way. So it was Natal back then, which I think was what the English named it. Now it's KwaZulu-Natal because it's a very Zulu area in South Africa.
Fair play.
So it's very, very Zulu and very English. So I spoke a lot of English. My Afrikaans isn't so good anymore. But yeah, like I lived in Prince Albert most of the time. It was kind of like my parents moved there when I was like a baby, just because I think they wanted me to like grow up in a small town where everyone sort of knew each other, and it was kind of that vibe, you know.
And I mean, did you have to do any farming as a child?
We had
Help
like
out
a farm, yeah, and we had like some sheep and some chickens and stuff like that.
Some of my favorite memories growing up. So my great granddad, I was born and raised in a small town, but he was from the village nearby, and I would spend the summers there. So I just got memories of like going fishing or picking potatoes or planting potatoes or just melting in the heat trying to get the hay in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And as a kid, it's a lot of fun. And thinking back, I'm like, yeah,
it was good memories. Yeah,
good memories. Definitely learned the value of some hard work there.
And that's why I'm glad I grew up. Like my first sort of like 10, 12 years of my life then was like in this little town where my friends were around me. Like, I just like walk to your friend's house. I lived like on the edge of the town, and then I was like we just like ran around like the wild, and it was like mountains and stuff, and it was awesome. Like we just fucking run around barefoot and stuff.
Nice.
Just fucking like find snakes and like throw stones at them and shit like that.
Oh god, yeah. What's the wildlife in South Africa like?
A lot of scorpions and snakes and spiders. So like
there's a lot of snakes everywhere, mate.
Yeah, I mean, but here it's like you can just fucking
I'm just
walk
messing.
around.
You get some people like in Glasgow be like, "There's snakes. They're all snakes."
Yeah. Here, like a snake is someone who fucking does you over there. It's like fuck.
Yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, I almost got punched in the face when someone shouted in my face, "You snake!" I was like,
what did you do?
Funny thing, nothing. That was the funny thing.
But yeah, we'd have to like check our beds at night. And just like pull the duvets off, check there's no snakes in there, because I knew there was a girl.
They like the.
So
cooler or something.
They come in. Or I think I'm not. They come in when it's like cold outside, so I think for the warmth because they go under the blankets and stuff. but yeah, there's a girl in my town who got bitten on the toe by a cobra.
She make it?
Yeah, she survived.
Phew.
So like I was always
did
like,
the toe make it?
I have no idea to be honest. But she told me, I was speaking to her once. We were sitting outside the library, and I was wearing like a shirt with like a cobra on it. And she's like, oh, like I never asked her about it, but I knew what happened because my mum had told me. And she was like, oh, I got bitten by one of those before. And I was like, oh really? And she's like, yeah, my toe changes color in the seasons now. And I was like, okay, well, that's an interesting fact. So, she got bitten on the big toe, I think. Basically, when it's colder, it goes blue. And when it's warmer, I think it goes red. Something like that. So it's,
Whoa.
yeah, it's wild, man.
That's weird.
So then after that, everyone started checking their beds more.
Yeah.
And checking
I can imagine.
for
Wow,
that
okay.
sort of stuff. Yeah, and we had like poison kits in our house for like
Poison what?
like so if like you got stung by a scorpion, we had like a
poison kits,
venom
yeah,
extractor
antivenom,
type
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, and you just sort of had that stuff around.
This is, I mean, here it seems weird because you don't have to think about that, but people just have to adapt to the environment.
Yeah.
And if you got poisonous, animals around,
is fucking-
venomous,
Yeah,
then what are you gonna do?
and it's weird because I feel like since I moved here, my fear of that stuff has become more. Because in South Africa we just dealt with it, but here it's not really a thing anymore. So like if you were to see one, you'd be like, ah, shit. So I'm like fucking
PTSD
terrified of
kicks in.
snakes now and shit, man. And it's like,
Yeah, I've got a thing for snakes. I don't. Yeah.
because I feel like with reptiles, they don't have like, I mean, I'm sure if you have them as a pet, that all animals have like their little personalities, but like they just seem so like,
Yeah, but
I mean,
it's like
cold-blooded.
it's like having Voldemort as your pet. you
Yeah.
know? It's like,
yeah.
Potter. Yeah, okay, I mean these are the little things that you don't think about.
Yeah,
It's like
small stuff like that.
yeah, wow. Okay, well that brings up my other question, which is how did you discover comedy for yourself? Did it happen back home? Did it happen here? What was the connection?
So it's kind of a long story, and for the first 12 years I grew up.
we
Yeah,
got
we're here
loads
for a
of
while.
time.
The first 12 years I grew up in like Prince Albert and around that area, and like one day I was like I was quite big into the school choir, like really big into singing and music. My mum like was adamant that I learn an instrument. From like 4 years old, I was like doing the recorder and like piano lessons and all that.
Damn.
And
So I should probably say he's a comedian and a musician.
no, I don't really do that much more, to be honest. But like, it sort of leads into comedy in that. So like one day, like there's like a really famous choir school in South Africa called the Drakensberg Boys Choir.
Right.
And it's I don't know if you've heard of like the Vienna Boys Choir. Like they're quite like well known in terms of.
I'm not big in the
Yeah,
the
it's not
choir
really.
scene.
But they like the most well known in terms of like the like the world and stuff. And then so it's kind of like that. So then they came and auditioned, all the boys in the school choir, and 6 of us got you audition and they test your musical talent basically, see if you can sing and if you can like hear notes and hear like make out things musically. And 6 of us got accepted to the school, and there's only like 100 kids in the school, and basically my parents had to ship me 2,000 kilometers away, which is like a 2-day drive. I don't know what that is in miles or whatever.
Yeah, I'm kilometers as well.
Yeah, so it's 2,000 kilometers away, in like this tiny little school in the middle of nowhere that basically just did music like 4 hours a day.
But was it like Christian music?
It was everything, man. It was like
Okay.
African music, like Christian music, just pop songs and all that.
Cool. Like, was it traditional African music?
Yeah, all of that stuff. So
Nice.
the way we did it, we did like actual concerts. Every Wednesday at like 3:00, we'd have a concert where people would come to like this auditorium and pay to watch us perform. And then we would tour as well. So I got to travel like all around the world touring with the choir and stuff to like Germany, Italy, Austria, Netherlands, Singapore. So like I got to really see the world, and it was like we'd have festivals and we'd rehearse like 9 hours a day, 10 hours a day sometimes. So it was. Have you ever seen Whiplash? That movie Whiplash?
How to see Whiplash?
That had the crazy conductor guy in that. I had like a guy like that basically.
Fletcher.
Yeah, it was kind of like that where he was just like a perfectionist. He wanted everything right. So it was.
Did he ever throw a chair at your head?
Yeah. Throw chairs, phones, glasses, scream at us.
For real?
Yeah, make
my
us do
God.
like run if we got things wrong. It was pretty intense, man. And I think
God damn, choir life is not as easy as I thought.
yeah,
I just thought you were a bunch of virgins going around, but
I mean, it's kind of like that as well, to be fair. But it was all boys around there as well, and doing choir, and it's just like became our lives. Like we're obsessed. and it was like only a certain amount of kids could get chosen for like the international tours, and they would like make you do auditions for it. So they'd be like, in 3 weeks you have to learn this song, and then we're gonna test you, and you'd have to like prepare, and then they'd like you'd go like wait outside his office and go in and like sing an audition, and then they would release like a list basically saying if you get to go overseas on like a nice trip or not, and it's like the pressure of it, like it was kind of wrong for kids that age.
No,
to be
I
fair.
think it's, if the person leading it has this sort of temperament and they make it seem like this is life or death,
Yeah, that's what
and
it
it
seemed like.
trickles down to everybody else as well.
It
Especially
really,
if you're
yeah.
kids, you'll pick up what your teacher tells you.
Yeah, exactly. So it seemed like it was like the be all and end all. So like when kids didn't make it, they were like crying. Like it became our lives. We like, it's everything we did. We like, when you weren't in actual rehearsal, you were like in a music room rehearsing by yourself.
So when did you realize it was just, choir?
What do you mean, like?
Like when did you like, hang on, I mean, it's beautiful, it's important,
But it's just
there's
choir.
there's an entire world out there. I mean, you could say the same for comedy as well.
Yeah. So when I was there from when I was 12 to when I was 15.
3 years.
3 years, and there was 20.
You were there in Nam, bro.
Yeah, 3-4 years. Because our years are different here in terms of the school. So we go January to December.
Okay.
And then basically because there's so few of us and our musical knowledge is so high at such a young age, like a lot of posh private schools will give scholarships to us, bring us in and try so we can try boost their music departments in their schools.
Hang on, so you're telling me that music is so massive that schools are actively, like you're basically basketball players.
Yeah, it's kind of like that on a really lower level, to be fair.
Damn. Okay, I need to take back the virgin comment. Man, 'cause you were walking around like.
I thought I was the shit, but I was a virgin.
Guess you can hold the B flat.
I can hold the hell out of a note, bro. So the posh private school it's like the second best school in South Africa, gave me like a full scholarship to go there. And as soon as we were rehearsing every day at the choir school, like on Saturdays sometimes, it was our lives. And then as soon as I got there, we rehearse like once a week. And I was so used to my Wednesday being dedicated to like a concert day. Like we had less school. We'd have like an hour where they'd make us like go for a sleep. And then for like 3 hours we'd be performing. And I was so used to that being my Wednesdays. And then my first Wednesday at a normal high school was like, what do I do? I'm not used to having this time for myself. I didn't have to do music. I didn't have to do choir.
I just got Morgan Freeman in the back of my head going, he's becoming Stuart.
Yeah. I became depressed. Like I was like, I lost everything that I'd been doing at that point. And like, we still had choir, I was still doing music. I started focusing more on like my solo singing and playing guitar and stuff like that.
You still do it?
Not anymore. I got my grade 8 singing. I just wanted to do that before.
That's a skill you got.
Yeah, so I want to try maybe get back into it at some point, but I just haven't been really passionate about it up to now. But when I left school, I met someone who did stand-up.
Right.
There's a great comedian called Sewell from New Zealand.
Yeah.
I met him in my gap year, and we were like into the same music and stuff. And he told me he did stand-up, and I just I've always loved stand-up growing up. Always loved comedy, but I never thought about actually pursuing it, being a thing. And
that's the fascinating thing, and it is like you see it, you enjoy it, but something has to happen for you to be like,
you have to click.
But I can do it, and not only I can do it as a hobby, I can actually pursue it as a.
This can be a thing.
Job.
Yeah. So I've never thought of myself as like being funny and performing, comedy. But I started, especially during lockdown, I started getting that missing, like the feeling of a buzz on stage, because that was like, even when I went to that normal high school, like we still performed, and I still was able to sort of fulfill that feeling of like, being on stage, and I just fucking did that. I feel great, and I started losing that, and I was like, fuck, I feel empty,
So what is it for you? Is it one being on stage? Or is it the attention? Is it the self-expression? Which one of the two? Is it both?
Look, I think I'd lie if I didn't say it was the attention.
Yeah.
It is both. And comedy, I love, because the thing with music is you can obviously be your, a composer and do your own music, but a lot of the music, there's the buzzer.
Is that the
No, let's leave it, it's fine.
We can pause
No,
it.
she's got key, it's right.
All right.
And basically it was like, a lot of it was just stuff people had written, but then with comedy what's so different is like self-expression and doing your own thing on stage.
Yeah.
And that was like when I went up and did that for the first time, I was like, whoa, this is different, you know.
It's a different high.
So it's a different high, and like you still get that feeling of like, I've just been on stage, that was awesome. I got like attention for that, and I'm like a big like I'm not like what's it introvert, but like a small burst of people giving me attention is what I can handle, if you know what I mean.
All right. Yeah,
and then
it's
just
fun. Like
expressing
it is
yourself.
kind of funny because there's many comedians who are introverts in real life,
Yeah,
but for that for that little while,
they okay
they
with
enjoy-
yeah being an extrovert.
some people are miserable being on stage. That's a weird combo. It's like you're an introvert, but you also want to be on stage, and you're like, I hate everybody.
Yeah, I just have to fulfill this feeling. Yeah, but that must just be like the love of writing and stuff and
Yeah.
performing. Because like that is one you can love writing comedy and you can get into like sketches and writing, but then like for stand up it's like you really do have to just get up on stage and do it.
Yeah, there's not many jobs that you actively have to be shit at in front of other people until you can get better.
Especially at the beginning stage, like now it's like.
Yeah.
Because I feel like with a music open mic, you can go up there and strum a few like chords on a guitar, and you can get by. But if you like don't do well at like a comedy open mic, it's like, ugh.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, it's sort of it can be demotivating.
Yeah.
But I'm at that stage now where I'm learning to be, to have sort of my own criteria independent of how I was received. Of like when I know that okay, I did well or I didn't do well, regardless if the people laughed or not. I need to know when what are my targets, what am I trying to hit?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're at other people's mercy, and I don't control what taste people have. I don't know who's in the audience. I don't know what happened in their life just now. So yeah, it is. It's a very interesting and sort of conflicting dynamic with the audience, because obviously you want them to enjoy it so you can get paid and get called back and perform even more.
Yeah, yeah.
But also you don't want to rely on them laughing.
Yeah, laughing.
Because then you just get less and less enthusiastic about it.
So I mean, at this stage, I'm loving the writing aspect and the crafting of the jokes especially, and just like going up there and trying it in a different way and seeing what works and what doesn't work. And like I feel like as long as I get a laugh, that'll keep me going until the next time. But like I've had a few decent gigs, which I feel like will carry me, because I know I can actually get up there and do it.
Yeah, no, it was. Oh god, I did the Tennant's Laughter
Yeah,
Lounge.
yeah.
That was one of the best crowds I've ever had. Like
I heard it was awesome. Yeah.
Oh man, like that kind of broke me for a little while. Not broke me, but I got spoiled.
Yeah.
Because I went up and they ate it all up, man. Like it was a smaller room, sort of lower ceiling.
Yeah.
So when they're laughing, it echoes and the whole thing just.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. It should be like a dark little room with like a lower roof, and like it just works well.
And you're inside a guitar, the whole thing is getting, the vibrations.
Yeah,
are getting,
like the acoustics and all that works well. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the next gig I did,
Oh god.
it was doing the same material more or less, but basically I don't know what happened before I went on, because I just showed up towards the end. I asked if I can pop in and do a bit, and the energy was dead.
All right. Well, you don't have to say where it is.
No. So I went in, I did my stuff, and everybody just very like they were even like politely smiling. There was maybe a laugh or two. There was one lady in the back who laughed out of everybody, but everyone just sort of trained at that stage.
Yeah.
So I could have stood on my head and done a dance. It would have made a difference.
There's a time when like you get the sympathy laugh, and then there's also the time you can hear when you're just not gonna win them over. Like you tell your first couple of jokes, you're like, no, there's still hope, and then you get to like the third, fourth, and you're like, okay, this isn't gonna go.
Yeah. And sometimes that's the toughest one, because you still need to keep going and you still need to push through it and try to bring as much of the energy as you can.
Yeah.
And that's that comes with training as well, because in the first couple of times you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
These are my jokes.
I mean, as tough as it is, I am trying to not let that consume me too much.
Yeah.
Because like the first few times I bombed, I was like, and you like have a week between gigs, you like have to live with yourself for that week. But now and then like every time you walk over a bridge, I'm like, why does this have to be my dream? I can just fucking end it right now. Why is this my dream?
It's like when you get angry at yourself for like having this stupid dream.
Like I fucking hate that this is what I want to do, but I'm not gonna stop.
I got depressed massively in high school because I wanted to become an actor, and I still do.
Yeah.
But I realized I was very shit at it. Because surprise, surprise, someone who's never acted in their life, they're shit at it.
Yeah,
I wonder why.
You can't just like, I mean, few people can just straight get into it, like the same with comedy, but.
Yeah, and I kind of believed in that, you either, you got the talent for it or you don't. I don't believe that anymore. Fuck talent, I'm done.
Yeah.
Just learn how to do it.
It's who wants it the most and who's
Yeah,
willing
and
to put in the most work. Yeah.
You can probably develop any skill. You might not be, as good as some of the people that have a natural inclination. Like, they're not even natural inclination, just they spend more time on it without realizing because they enjoy it and they think about it.
Yeah.
But you can get there. Basically,
Yeah.
that's my belief now. But because I was like, I'm shit, and I'm also like, I want to do this, but I'm not sure if I ever get there.
Yeah.
I was stuck in this very weird position where my dream was something very specific that I wanted, and I thought I would never be able to get there, and that was like perfect recipe for for depression.
Yeah. That's tough, dude. That's just like, how do I approach this? But like, I feel like where you are helps as well. Like, because I mean, there's a stand-up scene in South Africa, but like, and there's music scene in South Africa, but it's nothing like moving to a place like this where, I mean, there's the Fringe, and then there's gig. Like in South Africa, we'd have like a couple big like gigs like a band like Bastille will come, and that'll be like, fuck, Bastille came this year, because it's just so expensive for like bands and artists to come there.
Yeah, I mean,
whereas when you get here, there's something every night. So I feel like in terms of like culture and being able, like accessibility, I feel like it's a big thing, and maybe for acting as well, because I don't know what the acting scene is like in Romania.
It's slightly different. It's more theatre and stuff, but
yeah. And then when you get here, then there's like agencies, and then there's like chances maybe to get onto like TV or something. So I could never have dreamt of starting this in South Africa, because I wouldn't know where to start. But then you could say the same, I guess, for like Scotland. You just need to do some research, but like
I was actually curious. I mean, Trevor knows South African.
Yeah.
So he managed.
He managed to do it. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no, I'm just wondering, like, this is one of those things where a lot of the world looks to the West, and by the West I mean Western Europe and then America. So, like, we consume their content when it comes to comedy, when it comes to movies, music, whatever. So, is there a lot of, looking in South Africa as well? Do you guys used to look to the West as well and try to?
Still is, man. Everything's like America, and I mean it's the
I'm
same
guessing,
everywhere. Yeah,
there's I'm willing to bet a house on this. There's South African humor and there's South African comedians. That's like local and sort of a local flavor.
A local vibe. I mean, there's like the South African references. Like a lot of Trevor Noah's like first couple of specials was like in South Africa when like before the world sort of knew him, and it was very like South Africa based, and he was like South Africa, and like for me, like those are the specials I enjoyed the most out of him. I like Trevor Noah. I feel like he's great. He gets a lot of shit like on the Daily Show and stuff, but
I prefer Jon Stewart energy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not Jon Stewart. Yeah,
Jon Stewart. He had that energy. His performance was, I think, it was a not higher standard, but I for my taste, it was a lot more energetic, a lot more lively.
I mean, it's Jon Stewart he's so great at what he did.
Yeah,
I feel like anybody would have like you can't like
Trevor Noah comes across like as a statesman of comedy. He's almost like, he has the energy of like a teacher, someone who's gonna.
But he's gone for a completely different. He hasn't tried to imitate Jon Stewart.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been weird if he was like, "Okay, guys, deep dish pizza."
Yeah, no, like Jews in New York, and I go, "It's one of us," and it's like, dude, Trevor, what are you on about? But it was such a big thing when he got the Daily Show in, like, he made it in America essentially, like. For like the first like few episodes of the Daily Show, they showed it for free for everyone in South Africa, and basically like the whole of South Africa watched Trevor Noah.
Nice.
So it's awesome, and it's like he's the first, I'd say like the first South African to really, make it in like the sort of Western world in terms of his comedy career. Because there's big South African comedians. I mean, there's like Casper de Vries is a big one.
Casper
de Vries, John Vlismus. Loiso Gola is big. He's based in London now, I think.
Okay.
He's really, really good. There's Loiso Mandinga. So a lot of good South African comedians. But yeah, like Trevor Noah is like the top of the pyramid,
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like living in the West, you actively have to get out of your way, and just find people from other parts of the world.
Yeah.
Because if not, the local sort of TV, there's the pride element of like, we're one of the best actors and we have some of the best, we have a massive industry. We got to build on that. But if you want to experience sort of different styles and not necessarily genres, but just different flavors of art, let's say, then you got to get out of your
everything. And just try like. I think a lot of people consume more newer stuff, but like I try to go back and look at comedy like from all eras, you know.
Yeah.
Even stuff I don't really understand right now, just to like
Yeah,
try to see
some-
the structure and stuff, you know.
Yeah, no, because some of this stuff is just you don't have the context for it.
Yeah.
Simple
it's
as that.
like Lenny Bruce is like, I mean, regarded as one of the greatest of all time. Like a lot of the stuff he talks about, like I don't know what he's meaning because it's like American, what like the '60s. It's like,
Yeah, it's like
but in terms of him, if you think about how he's speaking now, it's like normal, but how he was speaking then and the things he was talking about is like, whoa, like you could not
Yeah.
talk about that stuff.
yeah,
you
like
know?
he was getting arrested left and right.
Yeah, exactly, man. So like I try to like look at things like that and try to think of it in that context, you know, and it is interesting. Yeah.
Sometimes it's just a window into a different world and a different era.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly.
Have you been back to South Africa at all, visiting recently?
Never been back since I left. No.
Oh wow, okay. You left how many years ago?
4 years ago now.
All right, okay.
End of
Oh, you're
2017.
fresh. You're fresh off the
Still
boat.
fresh off the boat. It's December, I get my indefinite leave to remain.
Nice.
So I don't know if you've had to like do residency tests. And all that
well, I
stuff.
had to do the EU residency thing.
Oh, so it might be
Settlement scheme.
Yeah. So did you have to go like do the history and the English and stuff?
That was for the citizenship.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've actually yesterday I received my British passport.
Hey, let's go. Yeah, so I went and did those, and then yeah, so I get my indefinite leave to remain, and then I think it's 1 year, and then I get my citizenship. So hopefully next year December, I'll be a citizen of the state. Yeah.
Yes, let's go. You'll be up to no good.
Yeah.
Officially now.
Yeah, because I really feel like as a foreigner, and my mom's got like, she's terrified of me doing anything illegal and getting caught and being sent back to South Africa.
Dude, you're joking, but so I remember, I had a little bit of that fear as well.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, the first couple of years, it's not like I was going around doing illegal stuff. It was just like I have to be extra careful.
Yeah.
I had that feeling of just extra well
Yeah,
behaved.
and I've got like a tiny bladder, so I always need to pee, and like I cannot pee outside in case I get caught doing that. Like people just piss on the street, yeah, and like
Just
I can't do that, man.
Just imagine getting just immediately like no chance.
I get sent back to South Africa and put on a register. Like that's not how I want to.
He was peeing in public. I mean, I think you'll get away with it considering some of the stuff we see in town.
Yeah, that's true. I was even
just pee in public when there's like a game on, and then people be like, "Oh, he's a
people don't
football
give
fan."
a shit. Yeah, people don't give a shit. I was even scared to jaywalk when I came here because I mean, South Africa we just jaywalk everywhere.
Man, I was scared because I wasn't used to it, but then I just saw everyone did it, and I went back to Romania I've been back a few times, but this January, and since I'm so used to like, if there's no cars coming, I'm gonna cross over.
Yeah.
I did it, and this car that was standing at the red light just immediately flashes me. I didn't realize it was police.
Oh shit.
It was night. They didn't even have the lights on. They literally just put it on top. As the moment I crossed, it was
Whoa.
like, do.
Yeah, Romania.
Back home, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
It's like, damn. He's
Yeah,
like,
they don't give a shit.
what
yeah.
you did? I'm like, I'm sorry. You know how much the fine is? I was like, I didn't realize it's crossed over. Okay, well, be careful. Then like the guy drove off, and I was like, like I already had that little, Western attitude of like, bro,
Fuck
is it
you.
for you? I just crossed the line. There was no cars.
Yeah. Yeah, but even when I came here, like self-checkout, like in the grocery stores, like I was too scared to use that for like a year.
Oh yeah, that took me a while as well.
Yeah, like, that's something people hear, like when they hear that, like what? But like we don't have that because people steal in South Africa, so they don't trust
I think
people
people
enough.
steal anywhere.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
you can say maybe.
but when people are desperate, then they're gonna like steal.
yeah,
what-
you can talk about desperation.
Yeah. So like when I saw the self-checkouts and doing it, like having to press the buttons and waste, I was like, fuck that, I'm just gonna go to like an old-fashioned. And I did that for like a year, 2 years.
Until one day you're like, fuck this queue.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened. I was like, oh, okay, today's the day I'm biting.
You know what? Capitalism wins. Here's another job handed over to the robots. Let's go, machine.
Let's
you
do
and
it.
me. Let's
And
destroy
now-
humanity together.
Now I only use them.
Now I still go. I still go to my lovely checkout ladies sometimes.
Checkout ladies, yeah.
This old lady in my shop. He's like, "Hi, young man. How are you?" I'm like, "Hi, I'm okay. How are you?"
I don't know if you feel the same, but I feel like I will never be as funny as those ladies as well.
They can be
Comedically.
hilarious. But the one in my shop, she's just very nice. She'll roast me on occasion, but.
So where do you do your grocery shop? Where have you found yourself
Oh, we are
going?
about to go into the different economic income
Economic
levels.
income
Yeah.
levels.
I mean,
Should I take a guess? You seem like a Tesco guy.
I'm not that far. I do Co-op, Aldi, you know.
Yeah. I'm an
Asda.
Asda's I've got an Asda right here.
Yeah,
so-
when to be honest, I'm an Asda guy because it's near where I live.
Yeah.
But I do like a little. I do like
Little is nice.
And sometimes when I feel really rebellious, I'll take a Farm Foods back into Waitrose, see what happens.
Ooh,
I haven't dared take a Waitrose back into Farm Foods because that can end very
yeah,
badly.
you fucking get decapitated.
It is funny though, like I was actually thinking about this back in 2014 when I was writing bits of like how different shopping bags, you know, have different social status sort of just associated with them.
Yeah, that's true. And
Like, are you a Waitrose person? Or are you a Farm Foods person? Are you a... You know,
and
what
then
are
if you carry like that bag around, you're like that fucking prick. Look at him with a Waitrose bag.
yeah. It's like, who cares, bro? Who cares?
Dude, I must
Who
say,
you trying to impress?
yeah, exactly. I went in and I got myself an apple from Waitrose once because that's all I could afford. And they have the fucking best apples. It was so good. Nice, crunchy. I'm a big apple fan. Beautiful.
Okay.
So Waitrose, it's nice if you want to splurge out, but it's not. If you're an artist who's like trying to fucking get by and
Yeah. Like for me, the height of luxury is going to Morrison's.
yeah, Morrison's is
At this stage, the height of
underrated in my opinion.
luxury. It's got some good stuff.
And they always look like it's a fucking palace, man. They always like, there's no little Morrison's. You always walk in, it's like a giant car park. You walk in there, you see it from miles away. And you're like, this is my temple. I have come to pray, Morrison.
Yes. Load me up. Yeah, God, I just... there's one item specifically. They have the Indian sweets. And they have... I love gulab jamun, but I love rasmalai, if you know it.
I've never had that, no.
Try it.
I
It's
need
like
it.
my drug.
I've never, because there's always like the Polish section as well. I've never ventured to try any of the Polish things.
Yeah, fuck the Polish section. Go straight for the Polish shop.
You go
Yeah,
straight.
just
okay.
ignore the Polish section and Waitrose, or Tesco's, whatever. Get to the Polish shop.
Yeah, I've found
That's
the
where
same
good
with
stuff is.
Indian food. I've got like a little place now where I go to get my samosas
Right?
because it's like on it's like in the West End, just like near Charing Cross, and they have the fucking samosas like the size of your head, and whereas everywhere else makes these tiny little ones,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
the
yeah.
snacks, and then
What is this samosa?
and they have like all the like traditional Indian like sweet type things, and I was like,
You're like the
fuck yeah,
crocodile Dundee of samosas. You call that a samosa?
A samosa?
Yes, that's a samosa.
Yeah, exactly.
Just,
Look, I like my Indian places to put their fucking bowls on the table and be like, this is the food we make, you know? Not this fucking puny Western shit, you know?
yeah. No, that is the one of the annoying things living in the West, which is like when you try to actually find an authentic place, because there's so much have to cater to the locals. It's kind of hard to find an actual dish with the proper authentic flavor from wherever it's supposed to be.
And let's be honest, the food here is shit.
Listen, like, I'm a citizen now. I don't want to get kicked out.
Yeah,
But,
true, fuck. I haven't got mine yet. I love Scottish food.
this gets. I do like a haggis. Like a haggis.
Well, I'm vegetarian now, so.
Oh, and what happened?
I watched Cowspiracy, and
Right, okay.
I couldn't eat meat, and then I couldn't eat meat
They
again.
get you, they got you the old emotional way.
And then in high school,
Nah, fuck calves, mate. As far as I'm concerned,
fuck in high school, I went to like a school camp, and I got made as part of like one of the challenges that they made us do. I got made to eat a raw chicken heart.
A raw chicken heart? Okay.
Which is very dangerous with salmonella, which I don't know how we were able to do that. And then we had chicken for dinner that night, and I couldn't. I feel like that was like a traumatic experience for me.
Yeah.
It sort of put me onto the side.
Well, that's your problem. Well, you should have grilled it.
Yeah.
Like, listen, you still be eating meat if you just grilled that one chicken heart.
And I mean, like South Africa is known for their braais, their barbecues. I feel like I've just had my full of. I've eaten enough meat.
I mean, yeah, I've been cutting down, so I'm like going it's 1 day, 1 off.
Yeah,
One
it's
on
good.
off.
I mean, as soon as I fucking stopped eating meat and like cut down on milk, I just fucking lost so much weight. You don't realize how fucking much weight you gain from just like drinking milk, man. Because it's made. I don't want to get like a whole, because I'm not like one of those preachy vegetarians. Like I don't care if you eat meat or not. Like it's just what I do.
Go and do a little bit of preaching.
But like, I mean, milk it's made to like make a baby cow a cow.
Yeah.
So when you drink it, you just like fucking balloon up. And as soon as I stopped, I was like, oh my god.
Tastes delicious.
But that being said, I love cheese. I still eat cheese. And I do, when I smell meat cooking, like certain meats, I'm like, that smells amazing. But I'm not going to eat. And I miss sushi a lot as well. Sushi was this is the shit. But yeah, that's enough.
So look
That's all
forward to
preaching
having you
and-
back on the dark side.
Yeah, I'm cracking.
I can see
I'm
there's
cracking.
weakness
There's
in you.
weaknesses. Got the high ground, Anakin. It's just the stakes.
Yeah, turns out they went to the fire planet to do a
Yeah,
barbecue.
yeah.
Technically they did.
What was the first joke you ever told on stage?
The first joke. Oh my god, hang on. I vaguely remember this. So the first time I did stand up was at Yes Bar.
Yes Bar. Okay, they don't have a night there anymore, do
No,
they?
I mean Yes Bar doesn't run anymore. at
Yeah,
all.
I never
Like,
heard of it.
they closed down as a.
I didn't want to say anything in case they had a spot going up, and I wanted to try and get on there.
They closed as a restaurant. It was like a bar restaurant. They had pizza and then they had comedy downstairs. And I think I can still have some. I don't have those same bits, but I'm actually reworking them right now and trying to like update them a little bit. But I think so. The first time I did stand up, I was wearing a crocodile onesie for shits and giggles.
Oh my
So
god.
I added another layer on top of just me doing stand up.
So you're a fucking prop comic, dude.
No, I just like I was like.
You're a croc comic. Nah.
Actually, I was literally. We had to buy that onesie for work. I was working at a buffet, and there was something to do with Easter. It made no sense. And I bought this onesie, and I was walking down Glasgow with my friend, and I looked at my friend, and I was like, "Watch this!" And I literally asked people, "You want to see my crocodile?" She was like, "Stop saying that to people." I was like, "Imagine if I said, you want to see my croc?"
Croc. Just sounds like fucking. Saying cock with a speech impediment.
Yes. That's how you get on a register.
Yeah.
So don't do that, guys. But basically, so I thought it would be very hilarious, and to this day I find it funny.
Yeah.
I just went up with a crocodile onesie to do stand up, and I think one of the first jokes was about the fact that because my work made me wear this onesie for Easter, I was like, imagine instead of getting crucified, Jesus would eat my crocodiles because the resurrection would be a lot more entertaining. Like.
Just crocodile shit movie.
Yeah, just this crocodile opens up. It's like, nah.
That would be awesome.
Punching a crocodile in the face. So I think that was one of the first jokes I did, and then one of the first bits I did, like an actual bit, was about. I was 19 at the time, and how easy I have it because at the age of 19, it doesn't matter who I am, doesn't matter what I do. If I die now, it's still considered a tragedy.
That's funny.
And then. So I'm gonna actually bring that bit back, but update it and add other stuff to it. But yeah, that was one of the first bits. It's like it was like I'd known people in high school, and whenever somebody dies, it's like, oh my god, it's a tragedy. But just once, I want to hear like, you hear about him? Yeah, thank fuck, it was gonna be a piece of shit.
At what point does it stop being a tragedy and become like, okay, yeah, that's it.
Well, in your 20s, there's already a little shift in your 20s. Now it's like if somebody dies from your high school group, you're like. Well, somebody had to go.
Yeah, one of us, statistically.
Like, not me, but somebody.
I was like, I said to I was like, traveling like down to Wales with a car full of my friends, and there was like 8 of us, I think, and I was like, statistically, one of us is a pedophile. I was like, who is it?
Oh god. I mean, yeah, that's the classic comedian, stand-up joke of like,
it's hacky,
4 out of 5, or like 1 out of 5, then 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi, yeah. It's like, I mean, it's a hacky joke. That's why I don't tell on stage, but it's like fun banter. But yeah. I mean, the first joke, I did that thing when I first went on stage, just thinking like, okay, I have to say like the worst shit, like, the edgiest stuff to like get a reaction out of people.
Yeah, so you went for the edgy stuff.
Because I thought like, I mean, I like dark. Well, it's not so much edgy, but like dark. I was like I wasn't being like, oh, fucking, gay people or whatever. I was just being like, oh, my gran died. And talking about that sort of stuff. So I was like, I definitely went edgy. But like the first joke I was like, I was really proud of was like, a bath bomb in Afghanistan is just a rubber ducky with a suicide vest. And I got nothing every time I did that joke. No. And I had my first 2 sets that I ever did went pretty well. Like, but every time I told that joke, I got nothing. And then I was like, okay, well, this is a joke I was proud of and it didn't work. So I dropped it.
Right.
But I can't. There are other jokes that I don't do anything from my first set anymore.
Yeah. For a reason.
Yeah, for a reason. But now I'm trying to work on like. So I got recommended by Mick McNeil. I mean, everyone sort of in the Scottish comedy circuit knows him. But if you haven't heard him, check out Mick McNeil. But he recommended Gary Gulman's writing tips. Gary Gulman is like a well-known American comedian.
Right.
And he's got like 360, I think he like tweeted for 365 days in a row or whatever with like comedy tips and writing tips. And he recommended that, and like that's completely changed now how I'm like wanting to write and approaching my comedy. And
Gary Campbell.
and even Gary Gulman, yeah. And right before, so like from up to gig 30, I had like no idea. I mean, I still don't really know what I'm doing, but like I didn't know what direction to sort of take. And on my 30th gig, I was like, okay, I was like kind of like a bit like fuck it, whatever happens happens, and I riffed a bit more. I was a bit more comfortable on stage, and I felt good. And I feel like from that point, I got to like the next level in sort of
At
open
some
comedy,
point you start being like, okay, I'm not gonna try to make stuff funny for you. I'm gonna write stuff that's funny for me.
That's funny for me.
And as long as I'm enjoying performing it, I'm winning already.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, now I'm trying to work on using pauses more, doing subtle things more, and not just trying to say the like,
it's not just
outrageous shit. Like, you know, it's almost like it's everyone was like less is more, you know. And now I'm trying to like do that. And I'm kind of feel like I'm getting a bit more traction now as I go along, you know. So feeling good about.
I absolutely. Like I had a weird sort of journey with comedy because I did it back in 2014. Like I did think around 8 gigs.
Yeah.
And then I took 8 years off to focus on my acting stuff.
Yeah, because you're good friends with Peter Wattick, aren't you? Because you said you guys worked together for.
Well, we used to work together. I'm not going to name the company, you know, because I don't want to get sued or you know just.
Yeah.
I'm still. I
know where it is.
Still working there, right? But
can I say Asian fusion restaurant?
Nah, you're already. Calm down now, sir. Calm down now, sir. But basically, I hope there's more than one of those in Glasgow.
Yeah, no, there are.
Hold on, I need to stop incriminating myself. I plead the fifth. I say nothing.
Right, Epstein. I plead the fifth.
Right. So actually, I met him working in the same company. But basically, I just wanted to focus on my acting for like a solid 8 years. And then I got to a level where I was like, I'm comfortable with my acting skills are now. Yeah. And I'm like ready to go back into comedy. So I started writing and I started this February. Yeah. But it's definitely helped me so much.
With the acting, you think?
Yeah, with the acting with the comedy because like I remember how I was performing back in 2014 and that was pitiful. Yeah. I mean, you got to start somewhere. Yeah. I started at the bottom.
So what was it like getting on stage again after 8 years? I mean, were you feeling more confident after the acting experience?
Because I've sort of changed how I go about it because I have a different sort of goal. I'm not trying to make people laugh as much. I'm trying to and it's like I want to share my funny with them as opposed to if you laugh, great. If you don't laugh, great. I'm still doing my stuff. Either way. Yeah. And I'm having fun doing my stuff. Yeah. So it's a lot more relaxed, and it's not. I don't become like it's not. I'm not more confident. I'm just more okay with people not laughing, and that just gives me that just that leeway of doing whatever I want to do.
Well, I saw. I'm a big podcast fan. I listen to a lot of like comedy podcasts, and Bobby Lee was saying open mics aren't there to get laughs. It's there to craft you as a comedian. Yeah. So like obviously, I mean, I think he was just being sort of like saying you're not going there for the laughter. You're going there to get better. If you know what I mean. Yeah. Obviously, because you bomb so often, and not every joke works. You go there to get your reps and learn how to do this. Learn how to structure a joke. So like I go about it that way in terms.
But I think some of it is just learning to be okay with bombing, or just having some of the crowd not laughing at you.
Yeah, not everyone's gonna like you. Like
and that's how I go. The best gig you ever have. I will find one person that doesn't think you're that funny.
Well, I think there's like 80%. Like you don't want everyone to like you because then. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. But
if everyone likes you, that includes some of the worst people in the world
exactly.
As well. So like, find the balance.
It means you're doing something right, I think, if you don't appeal to some people, because then the people that do like you really like you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. No,
does that make sense? I don't know.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I was talking about this. I did a little vlog on this as well, but like, it makes more sense. A lot of people say this as well. Like, it's better to have a passionate fan base of just a smaller number of people versus having a massive following who just go, he's all right.
Yeah. You want to be I'd rather be
loved and adored.
I want to be great for a small amount of people than average for a large amount of people. Yeah, that's a good way to
No, because like if we're gonna make a living, you want people to be like, I want to see this guy. I need to see him. He's so good.
Yeah.
Or her or whoever they them.
But yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying this period in like my comedy now, and I'm trying to not rush anything. I'm trying to just not compare myself to others. I'm trying to get better myself. I'm trying to work, and I'm not thinking of it as like I have to get to this point, because like it's not like getting a degree and then getting a master's and getting a doctorate. It's just, I think it's like a gradual incline, and I know it's getting into comedy. It's not instant satisfaction. It's going to take time.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been learning that. I've been learning
Yeah,
that, definitely.
so I mean, I'm ready to
You
work.
think
with,
you know what, hard graph and long, they say it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
But when you're like at the 20th kilometer, you're like, oh my god, this is still a marathon.
Yeah, on that bus ride to your gig, and then
Right,
on the
okay.
bus ride back after you bombed. You're like,
You're like, yeah, this is definitely a marathon.
yeah.
Like, you think you know what it feels like. No.
No, you don't.
There's a part of you that still lies to you. It's like, it's gonna be fine. Nah, it's gonna
Yeah.
be tough. But that's okay.
Yeah, so we're gonna get a Prince Albert piercing together then.
Obviously, after
Yeah.
this, after this interview.
Matching
Yeah.
piercing.
Yes. Just, the heart, just half a heart.
And then we yeah.
No!
Or a sword shaped one.
Just how, yeah.
Dick jokes. Love dick joke.
I was gonna ask, obviously, because we talked about you. How did you end up in the UK?
Oh shit, yeah. Well, my whole family came over. My parents and my brother.
So you're like, well, I guess I'm tagging along now.
Yeah, well, it was just the right time because I was finishing high school and my brother was going into high school. So my parents thought, okay, well, this is a good time because I'm going to be going try study at uni and my brother can start high school in a different country.
So just the whole
yeah,
family.
it just worked well in terms of coming over.
Just heard the voice of your ancestors calling you. Like,
Yeah, and then my
Let me
dad
go
didn't
to
want to
the-
go to England because he hates English. As a true Scotsman.
Yeah. I'm staying out of that.
Out
one,
of it,
bro,
yeah.
because
Dude, you know what? I went and did my English test for my citizenship, right? So like basically, it's like an English competency test, and you talk to like
a lady on the phone.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I went.
I had to do it as well.
Yeah, and then
Because I had to prove that I can speak English.
yeah, that's what it is. So those of you like who don't know what it is, you have to go to like a room. They make you talk to
The
an
computer.
English teacher. Yeah, on like a Zoom call basically. And
I didn't even see her, by the way. I just heard.
Oh
her.
really? No, I had
saw
it
her?
at least. I saw it at least.
Oh, wow,
Yeah. But it was
okay.
on an iPad, and then basically she gives you a score on how good you are at speaking English and like topics and stuff. And I was speaking to an English lady, and I was like, she's like, "What plans do you have for the holidays?" And it was like right around the Jubilee, and I was like, "Oh well, I think it's Jubilee this weekend, so I'm gonna go camping. I don't really care about the Queen." And then I was like, fuck, I probably shouldn't say that during my English test for my citizenship. And likely she was fucking like up for it. She just started howling with laughter. But like that, if someone was like really passionate about the Queen, I basically just went up like a true Scotsman and I was like, yeah, I've accepted culture here. Fuck the Queen.
Yeah, no, I mean, the idea of a monarchy in the 21st century is pretty wild.
It is
I'm
wild,
sorry.
yeah.
I'm sorry, but it is wild.
It is, yeah, man. It's fucking, I mean, what other countries has a monarchy? I think
Denmark.
Denmark, yeah. Do they
Yeah.
have one? Norway still have one?
The Netherlands.
Shit, Netherlands do,
Spain.
don't they? But they kind of like where they don't really have a say in how things are run.
Yeah,
really,
I mean,
do they?
at this stage, most monarchies are kind of like souvenirs. Like,
Yeah.
look at this family that we keep in this toy castle,
it's
and
kinda
we
like-
move them around and
Yeah.
wave for us,
and do a
Queenie.
little wave. It's pretty lame, actually.
It's a very odd existence, and I'm sure they feel about it the same way. But they're not complaining because money.
Yeah, I do wonder how much money they bring in with tourism and stuff, but then how much do they fucking use? So I don't know. I guess it fluctuates, but
Yeah, I'm staying out of that.
yeah, staying out of it. Staying out of
One.
that one.
Wait
yeah.
for your citizenship.
Next year, December, you can hear my truth.
I'll tell you how I really feel.
Yeah, fucking mask off, motherfucker.
I was gonna say, I was gonna ask you about, we kind of got into you doing stand up here anyway.
Yeah.
But if there's anything that stands out for you performing here and anything compared to back home, obviously you haven't performed comedy
No, I
back
haven't
home.
performed comedy back
Have
home.
you watched any comedy back home live?
No, I just on TV, just seeing.
Okay.
Oh wait, I watched a few. Like they got some like open mic comedians from a university to come perform at my school. And so
Right, okay.
That went as you would expect. It was awful.
I mean, they were open mics.
Yeah, I don't
Probably
blame
trying to
them.
be edgy.
Yeah, and it was kind of. It was a guy like a bunch of high school kids. To be fair, the guy who killed the most did like a thing about snorting cocaine, and everybody laughed, and he was like, "You shouldn't be laughing at that."
You shouldn't be doing that material in high
dude,
school,
it's like,
bro.
what do you expect? And then, so I saw that, but I never really thought about, one thing, like, especially in Glasgow, I go up on stage knowing that most of the audience are probably funnier than me. Just like, not comedians, like just general people, because people are fucking hilarious here.
Yeah, Glasgow definitely encourages, taking the piss out of each other and yourself, and it's a funny culture.
It's a funny culture, and people, like, I heard, like, and I'm sort of proud to start doing comedy here, because I feel like
this is the New York of
if I can make it here, then I feel like I'm ready for anywhere, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because it is a tough city compared to, like, I don't want, like, obviously I love Edinburgh, but I feel like Edinburgh, it's a completely different crowd.
It's a different vibe.
Different vibe, but like...
I mean, I've only done one gig in Edinburgh, so I'm going to shut the fuck up about what the vibe is in Edinburgh. Like, one gig is not enough to start judging.
I mean, they're so close to each other, but completely different feels every time you perform there.
Every city
but
has
I'm
its
still
own
so
culture.
new, so yeah. But it is nice. So if a joke works in both cities, I know it's a good, decent joke.
Any differences compared to South African comedy and the UK comedy? Anything you picked up on?
UK comedy is so different from even like American, I think. You know, it's so like, I don't know how to explain. It's its own thing. Yeah. And like I love UK comedy.
I think UK comedy might be slightly more subtle, not even subtle, just low energy.
Yeah,
not low energy.
Satirical in a way.
Yeah, like it focuses more on the quality of the actual like material versus the quality of the performance. Like high energy. There's some high energetic UK before, like Michael McIntyre and stuff like that.
Yeah, and he was like the first comedian I got into, to be honest. And like I'm not ashamed to say I fucking love Michael McIntyre.
I enjoy probably a lot of his bits. He's not like my go-to comedian, but I'm not gonna be like, fuck him. Like he's doing very well for himself, and he's found his own market. And
I mean,
I've
watched him for the first time, and that was like the first comedy I saw when I was like 9, and I was like, fuck, this is just the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, as a 9-year-old, it's like living cartoon.
And like he's a great comedian. I don't know. I don't know enough about the South African comedy, but I know Loyiso Gola is doing really well here as a South African comedian. Trevor Noah did well here, but then I feel like they also translate well to the American style of comedy, because Trevor Noah has gone over there and sort of adapted well to it. So I feel like it's a good mix of the two in a way.
I definitely lean towards not the American style, but that sort of high energy. Like when someone goes on stage and it's like, this is a madman going off in front of us. Like that's why.
Yeah. And
gravitate towards.
Yeah, I enjoy my American comedy now, like the American comedians. Like I'm a big Mark Norman fan, big Sam Morril fan.
Right.
Joe List, that sort of style. It's a very New York sort of style comedy, I think, where it's like set up punch sort of.
Yeah, so that's very like that's just one line is sort of built up on top of each other.
Yeah.
I don't know. My high school years were just me watching George Carlin on YouTube.
George Carlin was a big, like...
It's just the energy of it. Just when the guy goes off, he goes off, and you're like...
Dude, yeah. I discovered George Carlin when I was 16, and it just shaped it's sort of like a record scratch, and everything just sort of went... like in a movie where everything spins around.
I kind of did his The Planet is Fine, the People Are Fucked bit in high school, in English class. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And my teacher was like, that's a bit, watch the language there, young man.
Yeah. I had a teacher show me George Carlin. That's how I first discovered him. Like, the cool teacher that sort of...
Yeah, there's like, doesn't give a fuck.
Fucking threw George Carlin on, and no one else gave a shit. And I was just sitting there like, what the fuck?
Oh man!
And then I just you go down the wormhole of like watching everything. And have you seen the documentary, the George Carlin?
I haven't seen the documentary yet. No.
That's really worth the watch.
I don't have a TV and I don't have Netflix anymore either. So.
Oh shit!
I'm a poor struggling artist at the moment.
Yeah,
and I'm enjoying it.
It's definitely worth finding it and just indulging, because it really is interesting. Like seeing how every like 10 years he changed as a comedian. And became like,
he's a fascinating case study of he tried to do what was sort of the trend, and at some point he was just like, nah, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Like there's clips of him, being in a suit and tie doing comedy on the telly back in like 60s.
Yeah, and he's like, fuck this, I'm the hippie guy. And then he became, like, the long hair.
Becomes, Then the older he got, the angrier and grumpier he got.
That's almost, I don't know if it's controversial to say, but that's like my favorite era of Carlin. Is like early 2000s to like right up until his death, because he died like 2009?
Yeah,
Eight?
8, I think.
Yeah.
The last special,
Last special was
the
2008.
Life is Worth Losing. That was getting a bit too dark.
Yeah,
for
it was
my
pretty,
taste.
Yeah, it was pretty. But I love the fact he's this old grumpy old man.
Yeah, he's just done.
Fuck. And it's just like,
you get 1 month after I delete you from my phone.
well, yeah, just talking about scratching people out of it, like who die in his life. I'm like, fuck, that's awesome. There's so many. I could talk about George Carlin for hours, man. He's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. No, more stuff. You need a place for your stuff.
Dude, that like hearing things like that really, I feel like shapes how you start thinking about things, because I think that's important for writing as well.
Yeah, no, he basically got me out of religion. He's paused.
Dude, me too. I was like, because religion is big in South Africa. People are very Christian.
I was raised Jehovah's Witness.
Seriously, fucking hell. So yeah, that must have been. I mean, I was Catholic, but that must have been way more.
It was. I mean, yeah, because like for us, that's
Something.
like a lifestyle and a life goal, and that's like
Yeah.
the source of meaning in your life. Like I used to knock on doors at 14 and tell you about Jesus. And,
Jesus.
you know, and all that. But basically, I allowed myself to just. Like in the beginning, it was like curiosity. I was like, oh, he's got some points. But because it was funny,
Yeah.
he could keep my attention long enough that some of his ideas, I was like, I mean, he's got a point.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
that's all. That's all. It's like he's got a point.
See, do you know what turned it for me was that bit he has on him worshipping the sun, because you can see it.
But I don't worship the sun. I pray to Joe Pesci.
Yeah, I was
Because he looks like a kind of guy who can get shit done.
Yeah, it's just like fucking brilliant, man. And it's like after that, I was like, wow, like it's true, and it's like about
And if
going.
God is real, may he strike down this audience.
And then the whole like, if you do this, you go to hell where you will perish and burn in eternity for fire and ever and ever and ever. But God loves you, you know.
He loves you. And he needs money.
Oh,
that
man.
was. But yeah, basically that was like coming from a very strict religious Christian background.
Yeah, and I butchered
seeing
that completely, but yeah.
Yeah, no. But like just having that sort of just a little gap in the, chink on the armor just through George Carlin stuff.
Yeah.
And then that just sort of opened up that whole...
Yeah, I was like, fuck, has
world
my
of-
whole life been bullshit? Has it all been a lie?
Dude, I mean, you think it's funny, and it is kind of funny, but like that, it took me about 2 years, from like 14 till about 16, till I was like, okay, I'm out. Mentally, I'm out. I still had to go for a little bit after that, but mentally, I was kind of done.
It's a big... I don't think people... Because, I mean, Scotland, as much as there's like the Celtic Rangers and the whole religious thing, it's not very religious in terms of people going to church on the Sundays. Like, most people don't really do that here. Like, there is churches, but
It's it's like people are aware of it and they know, like, it's an identity thing, but it's not something you practice daily.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and South Africa is very Christian, so like, coming out of that is like, it's very different. It's almost against the grain, and it's like,
Feels
it's
like
a big step. You feel dirty, you feel naughty, you feel like you shouldn't be doing that just by not thinking religion is for you and like accepting the whole. And it's just like, you feel like I mean, obviously not an outcast, but like in a very small sense, if you know. But like,
I remember it just as we were talking about, just that feeling came back when the first time that thought sort of settled in my mind of, I think the God that I was, raised with might just be made up.
Yeah.
And that was like,
It's like everything just sort of comes back up.
Especially for me, because that's like your entire life is
Yeah.
based on, serving this God so you can get, into like the new world and, live forever.
Yeah.
So it's like that's like everything you do is somehow related to that.
Yeah. So do you, if you don't mind me asking, do your family know you're not Jehovah's Witness?
Oh, I mean,
Really
they're about to
practicing
find out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
No, I mean, I've never been baptized, and
Okay.
then I've kind of made it clear that I have no
It's not
interest.
for you. Yeah.
I respect that. I respect the role religion plays in people's lives, and I know that some people, it's great for them. Some people it's horrible for, because I know examples of both.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm just like, it's not for me. Now, if you piss me off, I can go off.
Yeah.
Like if you don't leave me alone, I can
Can
go
go
off
off,
on any
yeah.
religion at any time.
Yeah.
But other than that, let people live their lives.
Yeah.
Live and let live.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like atheist and I hate all religion. Like, it's just not for me, and I let people do what they want to do. Yeah. You have to clarify.
Yeah, it's hard to hate something that kind of has laid the foundations of whatever the world is today.
Yeah.
Like, you can hate the bad stuff, But a lot of the good stuff comes from that as well.
Yeah, 100%.
So you gotta take the good with the bad.
I really need a pee right now. Sorry.
Yeah, go for it, man. I'll put a little break and I've got 2 more questions after
Okay,
that.
no worries, yeah.
Cool. That was the compulsory pee break out of the way.
The deed has been done.
The deed has been done. So I was gonna ask you the final 2 questions that I've sort of like to ask people now. One of them is, since you're an artist and you've done a shit ton of weird jobs to pay the bills, what's one of the weirdest jobs that stands out to you that you've done?
That I've done.
To pay the bills.
I mean, I haven't had that many jobs, to be honest.
And I should clarify, things that you're allowed to legally say in front of a camera.
No, I've done only legal things. I thought about becoming a drug dealer in school. I didn't do it though.
We all think about it.
I was like, the whole Breaking Bad sort of came out. I was like, shit, I could do this, man. But then I could deal. I was a bartender at a wedding venue. It's not that weird, but it was
It can be. It depends on the wedding.
Awful, man. Yeah, it's like people having sex in the bathrooms and.
Really?
Yeah,
At
like
a wedding?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
And I'm guessing. Hang on.
I walked in on them. Yeah.
Okay, was it the groom and one of the?
No, so it was end of the night. And it was just two like
The groom and the mother-in-law.
Guy getting like a sloppy BJ in the bathroom. And
Okay.
it was a bit gross. And then like me going to the staff toilets and like hearing a chef come and like snort cocaine next to me.
Yes, hospitality.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then
Oh.
it was awful. Like around Christmas, I'd work like 16-hour shifts, and it was just like.
Yeah, those are tough.
So that's definitely the job. I had fun while I was there, but I disliked the most.
Okay. What was the weird? Have you had any weird customer requests at a wedding or?
Glass of milk.
Glass of
Guy
milk?
came up. I was behind the bar. A guy came up middle of the wedding. He's like, "Can I have a glass of milk, please?" And then everyone at the bar was like, "What the fuck?"
You're at a wedding. I mean, I drink milk.
I mean, yeah, the guy was crushing milk all night. Like he just drank pints and pints of milk. So that's his thing, man. But yeah, no, I couldn't.
Okay.
I would have shat myself if I drank that much milk. I'm really badly lactose intolerant.
But that explains a lot.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite of lactose intolerant. I'm lactose dependent, probably
It's
at this stage. Okay, so that's nice.
not too weird. I haven't had.
Okay.
I'm cleaning now while I study.
Okay.
So that's a lot of like cleaning shit stains off the toilet and stuff.
Yeah. Any weird things that you're like?
What?
Have you ever walked into a flat? You're like, something happened here. And I don't
I
know
did
what.
it. Maybe I shouldn't say, but like a public building, if you know what I mean. So it's like a lot of homeless people drinking in the bathrooms, like. So there's just a lot of like cans all around the place.
Cans and needles.
Shit in like all over the place. People shit everywhere. Walked into like one of the bathrooms there, and it's just like someone had obviously had explosive diarrhea and had missed the toilet, and it was all over the wall.
Oh.
So that's definitely one of the moments I questioned my line of work, but it's good money and it's easy. While
It
I'm
might
a
not be
struggling
much,
artist.
but it's honest work. God damn it, it's honest work.
And I was like, okay, well, this is one of the origin stories of me becoming an artist. It's like I have to deal with someone's diarrhea all over a wall.
Yeah, God,
It's
talking about disgusting stuff. I was working at a buffet many moons ago, and I had to clean up someone sick because they clogged up 2 sinks in the toilet.
Yeah, sick's not fun.
Yeah, no. They just gave me a pair of gloves and in I went.
Oh, dude, that smell, it like. It's
I
like
realized
burning
this podcast took a turn, so
yeah.
let's get out of here.
Yeah, no, so, but yeah, a lot of my day is basically like filled with, shit stains on the toilet.
Okay.
And all that, yeah.
Well, see, my other question normally, but I think right now we're gonna have to fill up. We're gonna need a little gap between these 2 questions.
Yeah.
My second question is.
What is your favorite food?
It is food related.
Oh, is it?
Yes. So let's just talk about the weather for like 2 minutes as a palate cleanser. It's gonna have a sip of water before I ask this question, because goddamn.
I go for it, dude. I'm so used to the shit. I mean, I'm so used to the shit stuff now.
I think. Yeah, you might be.
Yeah.
You might be. I know. So my sort of final question, normally, if I don't forget to ask, is if there's any dish from South Africa that you miss, you make yourself even to this day, or you think people from the UK should know about. Hit us with some.
So,
Right.
people in the UK are sleeping on this big time, and I'm considering like opening up a food trailer or a restaurant serving this. So Durban, where I lived, where I moved for my high school years, is on the East Coast, and it's got the biggest population of Indian people outside of India because they were brought into like as cheap labor by the Brits to cut sugarcane. So there's a huge like Indian influence in the cuisine and stuff.
Right. So like a mix of cultures.
Mix of cultures, and they've got this thing called the bunny chow, which is taking like half a loaf of bread, taking the middle out, and then filling it with curry.
Right.
And it's basically like finger food, and you just like eat it with like this amazing curry in bread.
Just sauce, or there's like stuff.
It's like meat, potatoes, carrots, sauce, like just a usual curry that you'd have with rice, but full
in a bread.
in half a loaf of bread, or you can get like a quarter loaf as well.
Yeah.
And it is incredible.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. So we actually have something somewhat similar. We have bean soup.
Okay.
Sometimes with meat. In a
bread.
Yeah, in a bread.
That's so fucking good, man. Yeah. So that's amazing. And then
Bunny chow.
bunny chow. It's no rabbits in it, but
Well, dude.
great. And I feel like it would be
Open
such a
up.
good thing outside like a nightclub in terms of like drunk people coming to get food. Yeah,
Just
exactly.
food, just curry everywhere.
Curry everywhere. And then we've got, I mean, the barbecues, the braais in South Africa are like
Yeah.
legendary compared to like the little like wiener dog type sausages that just barbecue over here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, link sausage. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
It just I'm come from a different culture. I grew up on a different thing,
It's
and
not amazing, yeah.
my palate is completely different. I tried it. I was like, what is this? This is not how meat's supposed to taste like.
Yeah. It's like a metallic sort of
I don't know
taste,
what
yeah.
you did to it, but stop.
Yeah.
Like you already killed the animal. Stop. Don't make it suffer
Oh,
even
worse,
more.
yeah. Or making it a shit food. Yeah, at least honor the animal and making it taste good.
Listen. Like, let's keep the suffering to that animal. Like, why do I have to suffer through this food?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, a bit harsh, but still, you can take it. It's the British Empire. You can take
Take it, yeah. So yeah, that's food. I'd say bunny chow is the main one.
Bunny chow. Just a loaf of bread with a
Full of curry. It's simple, but so effective.
I'm not gonna lie, it sounds great.
I'm fucking starving right now.
Yeah, it's just right up my alley. Well, I think that's everything.
Not a
Dude.
good one.
Thanks a
Yeah.
lot.
Awesome, man. It was great. Great doing this.
Boom.